Welcome to 90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming with your hosts, Taylor
and Q.
Nuclear launch detected.
90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming does not represent the views of WWSP, 90 FM, or the University of Wisconsin school system. The views expressed and the information given in this broadcast can be used at the sole risk of the listener.
Listening to this broadcast is guaranteed to increase your wisdom by 5 points.
The Enrichment Center is required to remind you that you will be baked, and then there will be cake.
Hey, listen!
Hello and welcome to 90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming here on WWSP Stevens Point. That is 90 FM. And this is Taylor, one of your hosts here on 90 Terabytes, alongside the other of our regular hosts, who is not paying any attention.
Oh, this is Q.
Yes, alongside two recurring guests. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
I'm Grant.
I'm Chris.
Yes, and they were on a month ago?
Skyrim episode.
Yeah, Skyrim.
Yeah.
Skyrim episode.
Somewhere in that realm, and they wanted to come back on, so that occurred. But for those of you who have not heard the show before, we are a video game talk show. We cover news, current events, which are the same thing as it turns out. Things that are happening pertaining to video game players, video game companies specifically for the most part, which is kind of some of the focus this week. And we do video game reviews, which you're going to be having one of.
Yes, we will. Mm-hmm.
Yes, before we can start off, though, we have to mention that we represent only our own views and not that of that list of people that Q knows.
Yes, we don't represent anybody else on planet Earth, that including UW Board of Regents, UW Stevens Point, the radio station you're currently listening to, which is WWSP Stevens Point. And we also don't represent the state of Wisconsin in any way, which is the Department of Administration, I don't know, the Treasury.
We don't
anybody.
represent Coca-Cola. I mean,
yeah.
It's a very small list of people
even
we
as
represent.
me and Taylor are both drinking one.
Exactly. We're only being slightly paid by them to show the logo over the radio every so often.
Anyway,
you can't see, but I'm drinking with the label towards the mic. But to start things off, do we want to go straight into the review? Otherwise, we could try to cover a few stories here. But I think that'd be a decent way to start things off.
Yeah, let's start off with a review. I don't think we've ever done that.
All right, well, review is about Mario Kart 7, which just came out within the last week or two, I believe, for the 3DS. It's the typical Mario Kart for the handheld. Mario Kart DS did a great job at it. You had Mario Kart back since the SNES, actually. But the game is really good. Character models, you know, they have personality of each of the characters. However, the character selection is odd. You've got Metal Mario as one of the unlockables.
Really?
You've got that weird, like, wiggly thing that has, like, each of their own individual, like, balls that connect to them.
Oh, the cactus ones? Is that what you're talking about? Or?
They're like...
Oh, the caterpillar guys.
Yeah, the caterpillar ones.
The ones from Super Mario World. I don't know what they're called. They have the flower popping out of their
Yep.
head, though. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And then they got the Queen Bee from, I think, Mario Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really odd cast. Some of them are, you know, there's Shy Guy, yay. But,
did they keep all of the old characters on still?
they've got Mario, Luigi. They got, like, the classic 8 characters, and you can also race as your Mii. But
Okay. Wait, I didn't even know you could have your Mii on the 3DS. I guess that shows what I know about 3DSs,
Yeah.
though.
you create your Mii when you start. It's the same thing as the Wii, basically.
Okay.
But, yeah. Speaking of the 3D part of it, the 3D is good. It keeps its depth. You see everything you want to see. But it doesn't, like, take away from the experience. You're not, like, it doesn't, like, freak you out and you suddenly lose control and crash into something. It's balanced. There's an interesting little feature where you can press up in the directional pad since you race with the joystick.
Does that like, change the camera angle?
Yeah, it changes the camera angle
Wow.
into first person, and then you
okay.
race with the gyro.
Yep.
And it's pretty nice, except every time you get hit, you get taken out into third person and then right back in again. So
Kind of jars you out of
yeah,
your perspective.
there's 32 tracks, which is it's pretty huge number. 16
Yeah, it's pretty
classic
big
ones.
for a Mario Kart game.
I'm still surprised that it's this late though into the 3DS being out that this is just being released. Honestly, you'd think this would.
I
be
don't know.
one of the things
Nintendo
they
doesn't
try to
plan
get out.
releases anymore.
Yeah,
that's true. They just kind of.
Actually, matter of fact, I don't think
There you
anybody
go.
plans releases anymore.
Kind of. I don't know. I think Xbox did a decent job other than actually having the console ready. They did great with games.
I don't know. I'm gonna check.
What
that.
did they launch with?
Yeah, I don't know. Keep talking about the review. I'm gonna find that out.
Yes, continue with the actually on-topic thing.
After the tracks, there's flying and underwater sections where you can go up in the area full, you can fly up, down, everywhere.
Are you just in like some kind of slightly different vehicle like they did with Diddy Kong? Then, where
It's
like,
not
you're
like
in
a
little
different
jet, or
it like kind of transforms your vehicle. You get a glider on top, and then you use glide with it. You don't actually fly; you just glide down.
Huh.
And then underwater, you get a little propeller underwater, and it's just the physics difference. Where if you try turning too hard, you're gonna start slowing down much faster. Back from the SNES, first time it came back, they returned to coins. You can only get 10, but every time you collect one, you get a small, tiny, barely noticeable speed boost, but it can make a pretty big difference if you're playing
especially
online.
if you have all 10.
Yep. And then the coins are also used to unlock characters, and there's cart customization in this one.
Do you drop the coins when you get hit?
When you get hit, you lose 3 coins, yeah.
Okay, thought so.
But if whatever you end up with, it gets put into a total, and the total, you unlock little pieces of a cart. You get the main body, the wheels, and the glider you can customize.
Is that just like... that's like your cart and you can just make a single custom cart, or you're unlocking different cars?
You're
over
unlocking
the
different
course
like parts, not like cars. You
Okay.
have to customize everything. But they each have their own little stats: speed, acceleration. There are a few new items, like they brought the little Tanuki tail to
The
their
leaf,
The leaf, yeah.
of? Well, it is the Tanuki tail, though, that
Yeah,
you
but
get
it-
from the leaf.
but it's a leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all it does is you always get it when you're in first place, and basically it protects you from one attack, and that's it. Not the blue shell, because the blue shell
Not bad.
overrides everything.
Unless you power slide out of a turn and boost away from it
Yeah.
Or
because you
just
play the game too
turn.
much.
And then there's also, if you're like in last place for a long enough time, you might get the Lucky 7 box, which you get 7 random power-ups around you and get to use them all as much as you want.
Holy cow.
Not as much as you want, but you get to use them all.
Sounds like
and
cheating.
yeah, you'll get back into
They
first
love
place
giving
pretty
those
easy.
crazy power-ups to the last place, though.
Mm.
And it makes being in first place just punishing because blue shells is just pummel you.
That's part of the game, though, obviously. Multiplayer, it's great. There's download play. You can play on all 32 tracks to the person you download play to.
Awesome. That does not get used enough in there, in pretty much all of the like DS and its 3DS-ness. But they did it with a few games, like right off the bat, and then all the rest of them was like you could play like one mini game if you don't have the cartridge, and then after that there was real
Yeah, and then you get
multiplayer.
nothing. Then there's also another new thing. There's online communities where you can like set up a community so you can only have like only mushrooms will appear in the boxes, or you only play in a certain type of track or those things, and you can enter yourself in that community. And the more points you kind of like go up in the community, and you can eventually get to first place, maybe never. But you only play with people from that community, so you can like set up a community for your friends, and then you can just keep racing against your friends if they're on, which is nice. And then there's little modes like balloon battle and coin runners, which
These have been in every game.
Do they have like special like arena maps for all the balloon battle stuff? Or
yeah, there are special like tiny arena maps. I haven't played with them much because I'm
Probably
playing
the
them
same
in-game.
exact maps they've had in every single game
Yeah,
every single
pretty
time
much.
now.
the Lego map, the one over the city and the one over
Yeah.
the lava. There's
Yeah.
one other I can't remember.
The space one.
Was there a space one in 64? All I remember is the one from 64.
Space one.
I remember a space one.
I remember a space one in DS where you were like
Oh, you're
racing
on
on
it,
a
yeah, on
giant
a DS.
DS.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
it was odd.
That's kind of funny, actually.
Anyway, yes. Okay, so what a review are you going to give it to?
With everything, it's really good, except there are a few like glitches, not glitches, but like it'll crash on you, or you won't be able to get a signal
Really?
sometimes, or it's basic, you know.
Well, the signal thing you can't really blame
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
DS.
But final score 94.235 out of 100 because it's really good and I like it a lot.
Let it be eternally portrayed on our Facebook then.
Yes, yes. Okay. Yeah, moving on. We had just mentioned when we were talking about that review, the Xbox 360 launch, only 3 really good games. Perfect Dark Zero, Call of Duty 2, and Gun.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess
were
the
tons
Call
of
of Duty
games.
was their big launch one, but
Yeah.
how long did Halo 3 take?
2007.
Or later.
A while after, yeah.
It's 2007 or 2008.
Wow.
Because I remember it as my senior year of high school, so... Yeah.
So it must have, I guess it really was mostly just the price difference, and, well, that must be really all that made the Xbox win right out of the chute, other than the fact that it was out early, I guess.
It beat the other two out.
Yeah, but it wasn't functioning. Whatever.
They beat the other people out.
What do we want to do for this next story?
I do not know.
Okay, we don't have anything specifically Minecraft-y, so rather than doing a regular Minecraft corner, we're going to real quick talk about the current actions of Mojang, and we talked about this game a while back.
Just rename it the Mojang Corner.
Mojang Corner? But we could. But then that's change. And then we'd have to remake that intro to Minecraft Corner that we never made. And that'd be
Yeah,
tough.
we never did actually finish that.
Yeah.
We'll probably make one over winter break. I don't know.
We'll try to. But we talked about this a couple times. We talked about a game called Cobalt that they were going to be picking up as basically the publisher for it. And it sounds like it could be out as early as this Friday now, which is kind of out of the blue because they really just didn't even mention it at all. It's a 2D platformer.
It's going to be out the same way Minecraft was out. It's going to be in the beta.
Beta forever.
Are you sure? Because I don't remember it saying that.
There's no way they're going to put the game out yet.
Oh,
unless the game was already done.
It says it should be having its first public alpha appearing before the end of this year, as early as this Friday.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But apparently it is. It's going to be, like I said, it's a 2D kind of platformer thing, but they describe it as a running, jumping, rolling, shooting, throwing, dancing, hacking, rolling, flying, sliding, climbing, looting, deflecting, racing, pinating, passing, score 'em up kind of platformer. Which
sounds about right.
I think they said
I see
rolling
nothing wrong
twice.
here.
Yeah, they did say rolling twice.
Rolling.
The kind of redundancy is just unprofessional.
Yeah, definitely.
But yes, that's pretty much the only activity that I could think of that Mojang's really been involved in since the release of Minecraft. Haven't heard much about Scrolls.
They do a nice little thing, because Jeb is now in charge of Minecraft development. He does weekly snapshots of the game now.
Really?
Yep. So the newest ones, things that were added: sheep eat grass, regain wool.
Wow. That's
added
awesome.
multiple language to the game. Spawn mob, egg item to creative mode. Farmland not getting destroyed by items. Little things. Oak leaves now can drop apples.
Really? That's really cool because apples were only dungeons before.
A lot
not
of people,
chests.
the game runs a lot faster for a lot of people now. Yeah.
That's a cool method to do it because I know they only gave us the kind of updates for what was going on as the actual full updates were released before. So.
Yeah. Lots of other things, but boring. Not going to talk about it.
Yeah, no, it's been a slow week. I think it's just Christmas approaching. Everything kind of starts stagnating around now. But
yeah, if you got things for us to talk about, because we don't know some things, you can always yell at us at facebook.com/90terabytes. Yell at us, please.
Yell at us, or just talk in a polite, civil manner.
No,
Either
I
way
like
works.
yelling. Yell at us.
All right. Well, in other news that we have, actually, Chris brought this in too, with a little mention on his talking points. GSC, the company responsible for, or the developer responsible for their previous Stalker games, looks like they are shut down. It's been confirmed that they are entirely closed down. Apparently, they're blaming this mostly on trying to create a PC-only shooter for a European market because that's a very small market to try to appeal to. And they said that they were trying to push into consoles, and that deal failed, and that was kind of the last nail in their coffin. So it sounds like we're not going to be getting any Stalker games. They said they were going to try, I guess, to still push through, but there's only a couple people left of the team who are even together anymore. So, in all likelihood, a very cool series is pretty much just going to tank here and be gone.
Oh.
It's really unfortunate. I had a lot of fun with those games. I didn't play them as much, but it was really interesting experience. There weren't a lot of games like it as real yet post-apocalyptic.
Yep. It was kind of like Fallout, but almost linear, because it was actually organized by level, which was strange.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it, though. It was very cool, and the people who really enjoyed it were very passionate about it, because, it was an incredibly well-made game. And it's sad to see developers like that sink under because they brought a lot of creativity to it. They threw in a lot of things that are like you only see in like Bethesda type games. People talk about like they'd find random little like holes in the ground and they'd find someone holed up there where all they had was like a pistol, a bullet, and like a note that they were writing and stuff like that. And it's sad. It's a bummer to have these companies kind of disappear, but they're right in saying that when you're trying to make a shooter for the PC only and only in Europe for the most part, that you're not really going to be able to be a money-making machine, I would assume.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't have done that.
Well, I mean, they made it through. The games have existed for a while. Do you remember when the first Stalker came out?
I thought 2007-ish.
Was it 2007?
Back when the world had money.
It was somewhere in that realm, though. I mean, they've been around for a bit, and they just now kind of ran out of steam. They made... Well, they had, like, Call of Pripyat, or,
Shadow of Chernobyl and Call of Pripyat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, was that the only two? I thought there was a third title
There was
as well.
maybe a third prequel, possibly. I don't remember it, though.
Okay.
Yeah. They only had 40 or 50 employees.
Yeah,
But
it was a very
still-
small company.
Still sad to see any companies go away. But they pretty much say no comments whenever people ask them. So
Yeah.
unfortunate. Quite unfortunate.
On the other spectrum of small companies that are in gaming, I guess, we talked about Bastion a ways back. I did a review of it. Very cool little top-down action RPG. And it sounds like after all the success it got, because it got a bunch of attention on websites like Reddit, and I think it might have been bundled into one of the like billions of indie bundles that are out there right now.
It was in there somewhere.
Yeah, but it is going to be getting its first DLC pretty soon. It said it'll be out on December 14th and will be free, and it's going to be called The Stranger's Dream. Not a whole lot of details out there, but the people are trying to hype it up a lot. They're saying that it'll be a good reason to come back and play the game, and there's a very strong chance that I will. Looks pretty interesting, but, I mean, there's only so much you can say about it. It's
They're a
DLC.
tiny company. I think their company name is...
It is Supergiant.
Supergiant Games. And they don't have very many games.
Yeah, I think they worked with, like, Warner Bros. For the release of Bastion, though. It was something like that for their publisher. But
I don't know.
it was a bigger company that they worked with. But the developer itself is a very small company.
Well, it's on Xbox Live.
Yep.
So it's probably Microsoft.
I guess. I don't know. I swear on the computer it was Warner Bros. But
I
if
know
it's not,
it's on Origin. So
Ooh. Good stuff there.
I'm sure that
Anyways.
makes up for at least like 1% of their sales.
maybe, maybe not. Next story, good sir.
All right, we can't tear through them like this. Good lord.
No, I got a bunch open here.
All right. Well, we talked about this multiple times. Blizzard is coming up with their next like main redo of everything, where they're going to be releasing the Mists of Pandaria or Pandaria. Pandaria. And apparently, they're trying to do a massive overhaul of their entire talent system. What they say that they're trying to do is get rid of the old tree model and bring it down to apparently like groups of 3. And instead of having a giant tree where everyone is making the same selections based on what character they want, it's supposed to be introducing important decisions where you actually can make all of them. So it's going to, their idea, they say, is that it's going to give players more customization. Like they're going to actually be able to have a say in what their character is rather than just going with the optimized build, which I didn't play much, but from what I saw of it, it did seem kind of like that was pretty much it. Like there was a definitive best way to make your character.
If you were good, you played the same thing.
Exactly.
As every other person did.
Which
you had
to me
different
seems
types
kinda
of gear.
dumb. I don't know.
Monitor in the way. I don't know. Did either of you play World of Warcraft?
Oh, I played it so much since 06.
Right.
It was fun.
Did you do any hardcore raiding back in the old days?
I started back in end of Burning Crusade.
Okay.
Then I went through Wrath and then stopped at Kata.
Yeah, Wrath is kind of where they changed it up. But back in the vanilla and back in the Burning Crusade, if you were a specific class, you had a specific build,
Oh,
and
no
you
doubt.
never changed it.
But that sounds dumb to me.
No. It was.
Still like I like
If you
even
could-
as WoW disappears, I still don't fully
But see,
understand
that's
its
the hardest part
popularity.
is, if you want to maintain balance in any way, you can't have a talent tree that has thousands of talents. Because
Well-
then you have to balance 1,000 talents.
But it doesn't need to be. I guess whatever. It's just I actually everyone's getting angry at them for what they're trying to do here, but as someone from the outside looking in, it sounds like they're trying to do something to make the game not lame in its character building process. It sounds like
They're
character
trying,
building
but
doesn't exist in this
I don't
game.
think it's going to do anything.
It's not going to.
Yeah, it really sounds like, but before, your character didn't even matter. It didn't matter what you made. It was just figure out your class in battle, now select all of these things, done, and now put in a bunch of playtime. I don't...
If you wanted to be a PvP Fury Warrior, you did a specific
I guess,
thing.
but
a PvP
who got
protection
so
warrior?
attached to that they would be angry when they try to change the tree system?
You really don't know World of Warcraft fans, then, do you?
I don't, and I still don't understand it. Like I said, I try to, but I have not heard a single good argument, and this just
Because
totally
there
confused
isn't a
me.
good argument.
I guess. I don't know.
You've never played World of Warcraft, so you don't know.
I
some
played
of the,
for like
some of the people.
half an hour.
That doesn't count. I'm assuming we know those people. That
Oh, yeah.
there are plenty of those people. You've seen that one guy
but
who has
if
those
that
YouTube
person
videos.
is just using an optimized build, how could they have any attachment to it? They didn't create that. It's just there. It's just the definitive only way to be that type of character. How could you be angry if they're just making new ones that you can just find an optimization for?
They're being angry for being the sake of being angry.
Guess.
Because you're going to have to redo all the theory crafting again. Because
That's
in the
huge.
end, there's going to be just one definitive build no matter what they try.
Not if they do it right.
No.
You would.
With the amount of theory crafting, they go to the fact where they calculate the milliseconds it takes you to cast a specific spell per to your lag to figure out if you're good with that build. And then your build is changed if your lag is a little different.
Huh.
You don't know theory crafting.
This game just... I really don't hear any fun anytime I hear people describe this game. Like, it sounds like a giant pile of work.
Well, it was work. It was just pure
It
work.
gets work,
It is
yeah.
a second job.
Why?
It is.
Why?
I
You're
don't
doing
know.
a second job for nothing. I play so many video games. I quote-unquote waste so much of my time playing games. And I have no problem with trying to figure out the best thing to do. That's what I've been doing in Skyrim. But then I don't... whatever.
I don't know.
If I'd
the
figured
pure
out the
joy
best
of
thing-
watching people crumble underneath your feet as you destroy them with a group of 40
That makes
other
you
people.
a bad person. That's just... If
Maybe,
the
but
only
it's a
fun
fun
in the
bad
game
person.
is watching people who don't put as much time in lose, that's just sad to me. That's incredibly sad. If I made a character who is perfect in Skyrim, who is absolutely just definitively the best character possible, I would be incredibly happy when they overhauled it so that I would have to refigure that
Yeah,
out.
but the difference
'Cause
is-
that gives me something to do in the game.
Then your guild, and you are extremely happy when you're crushing other people.
But shouldn't your guild be happy to figure out a new one and prove how smart you all are?
Because there is no new ones.
I'm saying, but when they change it over and now you have to redo it, wouldn't that just be an example of where you can prove yourself
Yeah,
instead of
normal
you're
person-
taking away our method of trouncing people with lives?
A normal person would completely agree with you, and I completely agree with you, but I know plenty of players that would not agree with you. For the sake of just not agreeing with you.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I don't know why some of those people exist, but we both know them.
Yeah.
We do. And I can't truly tell you why, one way or another, why people, for the sake of arguing, Like, there are plenty of those people.
Well, I will argue just for the sake of arguing, but when it comes to the game, I want to at least be arguing for something that is a decent game. I would want a better model to be produced rather than to just yell at them every time
Blizzard
they try to
never,
change things.
Blizzard rarely ever listened to us ever. Anyway,
Fair enough.
there are companies
in a
that
situation
do.
like this, why would they listen?
Exactly. With the amount of people who just cry and moan about it,
I'm assuming you were probably going to move one letter back on the alphabet to start that word. huh?
that's why I paused. See, I know how to talk on the radio.
Yeah. You. You can't say the name in this case because it would be kind of mean.
Anyway,
So I guess that's pretty much all there is to say about this WoW thing.
it's World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
It will
but-
always be there in one shape or form. If it's not, then there'll be the new MMO from Blizzard, and the same
Titan.
amount of people will play it. If they even get the money to release it, because right now Blizzard's not making as much money as they used to.
They cut the lead developer.
Yeah. We talked
It's a
about that.
great idea.
I'm assuming something must have really gone wrong for them to do that. Because he was the guy who created most of the original World of Warcraft raids, so he knew what he was doing.
He probably posed a new skill tree.
Hey, you're gone. Get out.
No.
You can't listen to our fans. What are you talking about? But it comes down to that pretty much, 100%, is there will always be an MMO in that place. And Star Wars just came out. The release date, I believe, is like the 20th. But it just came out in its, pre-release thing yesterday. and I had quite a few friends playing that. I did not because I have finals and I'm a person.
Yeah.
And I know they're listening, so I'm laughing at you. Anyways.
I'm gonna spend some quality time not playing video games between now and the next show.
Yeah, it sounds
Yep.
about right. I think I might be able to make next show. I'm not sure. I might have a final.
Next show, I think I can make because I have a final that day. We'll see.
I have a final that day,
Yeah.
too. Anyways.
Yes, we're at about the halfway point. Do we want to go to the break and then come back with the remaining stories?
We can go to the break. What do you would like to talk about it? You can talk about it while I put things over.
Oh, well, we're doing the regular thing we do at the halfway point where we do our little giveaway where we play a song from usually a retro game, but anywhere within the gaming spectrum we can pull this from. And then you hear this, it goes into your ears and into your brain, where you associate it with a game you played at some point. And if you know what game that is, you give us a call at 715-346-2696. And if you're the first one to call in and guess properly, then you win $10 fun worth of game time over at the Tech Lounge.
Tech Lounge.
And I guess it doesn't have to be game time, really. It's $10.
No, it's $10. It's got to be for game time.
Yep.
It does have to be game time? Well, then, never mind.
Yes.
First me was right.
Yes, you get 10 fun dollars worth of game time. And fun dollars, one fun dollar equals one real dollar, so you know what that means out there in the listening world. But yes, this is 90 Terabytes Alternative Gaming. We do our little fancy spiel like right here in the middle. And you call us at 715-346
2696.
with your guesses to the song I'm going to play. You named video game, and I think we want a specific. Do we want a specific for this one?
We will ask for a specific level, but if you are confident in it, that you know at least the game, call in anyways, because if no one else is getting it, then you're going to have a shot anyways. So yeah, do we want to do our hint?
You can do a hint if you want to.
Do we want to
It's
go
a
by like console?
pretty popular game.
It's a very popular game.
I don't think you need a hint.
Yeah, let's go. Well, do we want to say the console at least? Because I mean, it's got parallels. It's got parallels in other aspects of games, though, where it would be nice to at least know which one it is.
Nope, not doing it. Okay.
Not happening. Sorry, I was trying to be nice to you guys.
All right, well, here is the song here on 90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming here on 90 FM, your only alternative.
For gaming.
90 terabytes of alternative gaming is brought to you by
The Tech Lounge, offering the world's best next-generation and retro game systems, along with great-tasting Fair Trades coffee, espresso, jet smoothies, and energy drinks. Open Tuesday through Saturday, noon to midnight, Sunday, 2 p.m. till 10, and closed on Monday.
Located at 1036 Main Street in downtown Stevens Point.
Visit them at the web at www.techloungesp.com. The Tech Lounge, where the future is yesterday.
It's a modern age arcade.
90 terabytes of alternative gaming is brought to you by Gaming Generations in Stevens Point, located at 135 Division Street. Phone number 715-254-9990.
Gaming Generations features new releases and a wide selection of used games. They also have the classics you grew up with and the know-how to get your console up and running again.
That's Gaming Generations in Stevens Point, your source for gaming.
90 terabytes of alternative gaming does not represent the views of WWSP, 90 FM, or the University of Wisconsin school system. The views expressed and the information given in this broadcast can be used at the sole risk of the listener. I mean, let's face it, the opinion of these two guys is about as pristine as Wikipedia. After all, their source is the internet. And now, back to the show. Fight.
Hello and welcome back to 90 terabytes of alternative gaming here on 90 FM. Your only alternative?
Yeah.
For gaming? I don't know. I always want to say it, and then I don't know how to do it when I'm leading myself up for what I'm supposed to say. It's strange.
You can just say the whole line without pausing.
I could. It's true.
90 FM, your only alternative for gaming.
I guess. now that,
it's pretty
now that
easy when you just
sense.
don't stop in the middle.
All right,
it's a sentence. There's no comma.
It's not a comma. It was a series of ellipses, actually. Yes.
Dot, dot, dot.
Yeah. Whoa. All right. Well, we are a video game news and talk show, as I have already stated about half an hour ago, so I don't need to go into a whole lot of detail on that front. And I don't think we have to do our disclaimer after the second half coming back in, because Harley says it for us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, the name of that song was... Anybody? I don't want to say it.
What was it? Oh, yeah. It was Mario Kart 64 Rainbow Road.
Yes.
And our first caller was victorious.
Mm-hmm. He was. There were a couple, but I didn't answer. I'm sorry.
What a jerk.
You're terrible.
But, yes. Anyways, go back to talking about video games.
We should probably do that, yeah.
That's what we do best.
I hear that's why we're here. Oh, by the way, we forgot to mention the name of that new Bastion DLC, and we had someone on our Facebook page mention it, so I figure I should real quick say it. Yes. It is going to be called The Stranger's Dream, which I'm assuming means it's going to be another one of those little flashback things that they already have in the game that kind of reveals some past story.
No.
You should do it. It's a good game.
Will.
Good game.
It's a good game.
Probably will, eventually. I don't have any money. I just bought the Humble Indie Bundle. That's not what we're going to talk about. Whoa!
Yes, and the new Humble Indie Bundle is awesome.
Yes, it is. Yes,
so awesome. It is a really good batch of games.
If you want to check it out, if you want to, you can at humblebundle.com.
There's a charity switch.
I will also post that link to that on the 90 terabytes alternative gaming page, which is facebook.com/90 terabytes.
And it's up. It is there. The blue button was just pressed.
It is. Okay, so basically you get 7 fantastic games. Actually, probably the best.
This is one of the best lineups I've seen for it, honestly.
It is the best lineup.
Yeah.
It is. You get Jamestown, which I played yesterday night. It is a curtain shooter. Basically, you go through the game. Essentially, it's kind of set in a futuristic.
It's kind of almost steampunky. It's kind of got like almost Victorian elements to it, but then
spaceships after England and colonizes America. That's kind of what happens there. Yeah. It's really hard.
I bet.
It's really hard.
It looks like a really intense curtain shooter, where it's one of the ones where there's just bullets everywhere.
It's 4-player, but it is not online 4-player.
Really?
You can hook up a bunch of things to your computer, including Xbox controllers, PlayStation controllers, mices, and keyboards.
Mice?
Yes. So if you actually can hook up 2 Xbox controllers, a mouse, and a keyboard, and have 4 people playing.
Awesome.
It's really cool.
It'll be intense.
Yep, I'm planning on doing that hopefully over Christmas sometime. Obviously, we'll have to do that eventually.
Yeah, no.
But
I mean, even just
yes.
keyboard and mouse would be easy to split that.
I really, really liked it. It has DLC and stuff. I never really looked into it to see if it costs money, but it's an indie developer, so I don't really feel that bad because they give you most of the game anyway. When I make my game, I'm going to give it to you all for free anyway, so just remember that.
There's going to be a code on our page.
Yes, no DLC for my game. No, there'll be DLC, but it won't be free.
It won't be free, or
it
will
be free.
Okay,
Unless I make a whole
you're going with
expansion.
the Valve model.
Yeah. Or the Mojang model.
Yeah, or the most cool people model.
Yeah,
honestly.
the most cool people. The other game is Bit Trip Runner. I
think this was made after Bit Trip Beat. I'm pretty sure it's the same company, and both of them are rhythm-based games. Bit Trip Beat was weird. It was like Pong, except
it's a
a
side-scrolling
billion bullets, and it was
rhythm
it was crazy. And this one is a side-scrolling music-based platformer.
Retro-styled music platformer.
And it looks really cool, and I've heard amazing things about it, and I'm assuming I'm going to enjoy it quite a lot. The trailer for it looked like it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's basically just the level is being made set to the music, so like every time there's a note, like a certain type of sprite will come in and try to hit you, and you have to dodge it.
Super Meat Boy is one of the biggest games of this year for indie games overall.
And difficult games in general.
One of the most difficult games ever made. It's basically kind of like a little platformer where you jump around and you try to get to saving the little girl at the end of the.
And I think it's worth mentioning that as this game is incredibly difficult, verging on impossible sometimes, it's definitely worth mentioning the controls are still the smoothest I've played on a platformer in so long. You would never feel like you're combating the controls in this game ever. That's never the difficulty. The difficulty is the fact that you just do not have those kind of reflexes because you're a person.
And I got a busted finger on this hand.
Yeah, if you played V
it
from
literally started hurting after a couple hours.
I bet. If you have anything wrong with your fingers, I would assume that would start hurting really fast. But if you played V from one of the previous indie bundles, it's somewhat in the same vein, except this one you can wall jump and all that. But it's basically just a incredibly difficult platformer.
That it is. Another game in the bundle is Shank, one I did not get to play, but I will be playing tonight most likely. Shank is a highly stylized, action-packed 2D brawler. Essentially, you move left and right, and you beat the crap out of people.
Yes, and it's incredibly over the top. You're like this guy with just biceps bigger than the rest of his body, and you run around with a knife, and I think you can get some other weapons too. I played the demo of it on Xbox actually, but it was a long time ago. I was very surprised to see it pop up on here. But the game is incredibly fun. It's basically just violence for violence sake. So it's like the answer to Mortal Kombat, but of platformers. And then those are all... No, there's one more of the regular games,
I'm not done yet.
Yep.
We got Night Sky HD, which is sort of like V, more or less.
But it's more of an ambient platformer.
It's a more physics platformer.
Well, yes, but also a lot of the focus is on its atmosphere.
Yep. Acceleration, gravity, and motion to navigate a glowing sphere through a bunch of levels.
So much fun.
So good.
Yep, got a lot of really good reviews.
And then if you pay more than $5.38, you get 2 more games that I've heard very good things about now after we've talked about them. Gratuitous Space Battles is a sci-fi strategy game where you outfit a complete battalion or a fleet and then attack another person. And then you win or lose.
Yep, it looks like it's basically where I haven't played it yet, but it looks like you set up all the troops before the battle, and then you have the battle play out after that, rather than it being like a normal RTS where you're constructing as it all goes. So it's got that as at least as a kind of difference.
Kind of like Frozen Synapse.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, kind of like that. And then Cave Story Plus, which I've also heard fantastic things about. I personally, I'd have to play it.
Yeah, I watched, I remember hearing amazing things back when this came out, but when I watched it, it only seemed like a pretty decent indie platformer rather than this amazing one that is still upholding the test of time. So yeah, I'm expecting to be surprised by it. I'm hoping to be, really.
Yeah.
Because I'd be kind of crushed if it seriously got that much hype otherwise.
But the 2 charities are different this time around.
Well, one is different.
Well,
we still have Child's Play.
We still have Child's Play because Child's Play is fantastic.
Yes.
Child's Play gives video games to sick kids, no matter where they are. I believe probably the United States and Europe. I don't know about other places. Yeah, we really need to get new mic stands.
Yeah, it makes a lot of
and
noise.
new chairs in this room. That's what all the squeaking and stuff is you hear on the radio. Is we have,
and the rat infestation.
Yes, if you 90 FM would love your money if you just brought it in.
We're a big fan of money.
We would use it. Anyways, you have the American Red Cross and Child's Play around this time. American Red Cross, you know what they do. I don't think I need to tell you what the Red Cross
Who are they?
Does. They're in every single city in the United States of America. Yeah, I think even Stevens Point has like 3 of them.
Yep. So the EFF for some reason apparently was dropped this time around, but
don't know why
they replaced it, and it's still for a good
You're
cause.
going to even put 3 charities up there. People would be more inclined to give money.
It's true, but then you're spreading the money more thinly across the charities.
Yeah, but money's. This one has already passed $1.169 million. Fun dollars.
That is a lot. What are the sales at? I think it's like 250?
219,000 sold in one day.
Yep. These are just exploding more every time.
You have 12 days to get all these fantastic games for, if you want to get all 7, $5 fun dollars and 33 fun cents if you wanted to get them. You pay what you want. So you pay a penny, you can get 5 games. You pay what I told you, you can get all of them. Fun penny.
Yep. It's only a difference of 2 games, but supposedly both are pretty cool games, so you'd be missing out a lot.
7 of them are amazing. So even better, you got friends out there in the world. If you do, and you're listening to us,
friends in the real world,
you can buy this for them as a great present if you wanted to, obviously. Yes, because the money goes to charity.
I am actually incredibly excited to finally play all the way through Meat Boy.
Yeah, I did. I made it like halfway before my hands broke.
And you were like, nope, done.
All these games are cross-platform. You can play them on absolutely everything, Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. Obviously, you can't play them on Android and etc. Other stuff because those don't count as viable game platforms yet.
It's true.
It's all DRM-free. You can get them on Steam, Desura, and a couple other things, I believe. You can support charity, which is fantastic, and you pay whatever you want. And the current winner is somebody I don't want to talk about for the top contributors. I don't want to talk about them. They don't
really?
They don't get to talk about them. They're the people we talked about last time. And I'm not going to mention them on air.
Okay.
The person in second place is Metasploit. They're people who hack stuff. So.
And give away money.
Yes, they're.
It's karmic rebalance, really.
They're. I've used their program a couple times. Temple University is in third. That's really nice of them. Yeah. So I mean, there's lots of big companies on here, and there's that other company that sells that stuff in Necedah, Funko Amusements. They're up here every once in a while.
Really?
Yeah, they sell arcades out of Necedah, arcade machines out of Necedah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Really cool.
This world needs more arcade machines.
Yes, it does. But there we go. 7 games. HumbleBundle.com. If you wanted to get them, you don't have to, or you don't even have to go to the link I want you to go to. You can go to Facebook.com/9terabytes and get the link there, as well as
hitting the like button.
Yes, you can also hit the like button.
Feed our egos.
I want you to click the like button. Yep. Okay, moving on to the next fantastic stories. It's hard to beat charity.
It is.
You can't.
And charity and literally the single best indie bundle so far.
By far. This is the Humble Indie Bundle number 4 for those out there. I believe this is actually like the 7th overall.
This might pull me out of Skyrim for a little while, like for a few hours.
Yeah, tonight I'm gonna play Skyrim.
Yeah, I might too.
I only have to be up at 6:30 in the morning.
No, thank you.
That'll be fine. Anyway,
I do not, and I will not.
We got any stories left in front of you, sir?
In front of me, no. I know that Chris brought a few in, though, that he wanted to mention, if we haven't gone over all of them. All right, what are we talking about?
There's at the Spike Video Game Awards, they had a Portal 2 acceptance trailer from Wheatley Out in Space. Spoiler alert, I guess.
Yeah, at this point, I feel like we're free.
Yeah, too bad.
They gave the game away for like $20, so no, we can say whatever spoilers we want from it now.
And apparently there are like little symbols and like Greek lettering at the top that
people of course translated because hello and welcome to being fans of Valve.
And then an old account, Doug Ratman, which was one of the lore characters in Portal 2, had a Twitter account, and he suddenly started having a bunch of numbers and characters just randomly on his Twitter account, and they're trying to decode those now too.
Which basically means that another ARG has started out, which they did.
Valve is really good at subliminal advertising.
Yeah. They are incredibly good at making us do the advertising for them. It is insane. Like they do it and make us happy to do it. Like, they come out with some crazy game, which everybody hears about and does all of the marketing for them, and everybody does it with full knowledge.
I'm going to give a little bit of a prop to the Video Game Awards this year. Portal 2 won Best Multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
beating
was
Battlefield
surprised.
3 and Modern Warfare 3 and Gears of War 3. So take that, threes. So 2 beat you.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yes, but Modern Warfare 3 beat out all the rest of them for Best Shooter. But Game of the Year obviously went to Skyrim, and I don't believe any of us disagree with that.
At all.
Nope.
Considering Skyrim actually beat Modern Warfare 3 in sales, which is incredibly impressive to me.
Yeah, take
so
that,
did
Modern
Terraria,
Warfare.
So.
Terraria?
Yeah,
I
Terraria.
thought that beat players, not sales.
I don't know.
I know it was
the
on
sales on that
Steam.
one.
They were beating out the number
I would
of
assume it
players
had to have had a
online.
lot of sales to have more people currently playing than Modern Warfare did.
This is true, but...
But, yep. I don't know what the category is. Whatever. Studio of the Year went Bethesda for Elder Scrolls 5, as we just mentioned. Best Wii game went to Skyward Sword. I believe in 2 weeks we will have a review of Skyward Sword on our show
Mike?
from Aaron.
Oh, from Aaron, okay.
Aaron Osowski, the person in charge of the Pointer newspaper here on campus. He will probably be coming in here to do that.
I'm assuming he'll be bringing some positive news, because I've heard from a lot of people that it is one of the best Zelda games that's been made.
I've heard that from many people
as
too.
well.
Best independent game went to Minecraft. I don't think anything wrong with that either. Bastion was another one of those on there. The Binding of Isaac and Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery were the other nominees, but Minecraft won that. I don't see any problem with that one either. Best DLC went to Peer Review. Overall DLC, yeah, I guess, because we got that for free, didn't we?
Yeah, but what else was up for grabs? Because, I mean, it was fun, but I would not say it was, like, the greatest DLC of them all.
Of the year? We have Mortal Kombat's Freddy Krueger update, Mass Effect 2's Arrival, and Fallout New Vegas Old World Blues. Yeah, Peer Review wins.
Yeah.
That ending was pretty funny.
Maybe if Fallout hadn't been so dang buggy with their expansions, with their
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a Trailer of the Year award. Wow.
Really?
Okay.
What won that?
Dead Island.
Dead Island, yeah.
It was good, but
the
then
one that
the
was backwards
game-
and sad, and then the game came out and
it
was
says
sad.
backwards and sad.
It says
for all
Assassin's
different
Creed one on
reasons.
here. It says Assassin's Creed one on here.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, Dead Island was in 4th place, it looks like.
Wow.
What? I don't even remember the Assassin's Creed one. Is it Revelations that won it? I'm gonna have to go and watch that trailer.
That's the one where he's jumping around the boats and stuff. It was pretty cool.
And then he
I'll have
goes
to
to like
watch
the
that.
top of like this area and gets shot in the arm with an arrow, and then he sees Altair and he jumps and
Then he gets shot in the knee and no longer.
No.
adventure.
And
We're not doing
and he
this.
stops being an adventurer.
No. Only our listeners would get this joke, and we're not going to make it.
What are you talking about? Everyone will keep making the joke whether or not they get it. That is exactly what happened to that joke.
Anyways, what is next on our list of things to talk about?
What is?
The only other one I have is here. They released a new Metal Gear Solid Rising trailer thing.
Yep.
With what I assume to be gameplay in there. There's no HUD, but it looks like it's in the perspective that you would be playing it with.
That's something that has especially been moved to a lot too, though. So I wouldn't be surprised if they had a super minimalist HUD. Games have been trying really hard, and Skyrim actually specifically did a great job of that. Because unless you're using one of the bars, the only thing that's there is your top compass, and then your health will appear when you need it, and your magic appears when you need it, and your stamina and like arrows, stuff like that, which is awesome. And a lot of games do that. Like Battlefield, that was one of their big things. They try to shrink down all the HUDs, and I'm assuming that's for immersion's sake.
Yeah.
But the trailer, it was interesting in the fact that when you saw the cuts and everything, they were like so precise. They were so different ones, which I assume means possible move or connect possibilities if they're going to be that exact with how you can cut. But of course, there's nothing confirmed. We don't know anything about that. It looks like there's going to be a lot of quick time events with the bosses, and then it's also
I thought we
being,
could move away from those by
yeah,
now.
it's not happening.
Yeah.
Especially with now being developed by Platinum Games, who made Bayonetta.
Which was a lot of QuickTime.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was basically Devil May Cry plus QuickTime.
Well, it
That
had
was
the
all-
lead developer from the first one, so
yeah,
it's going to.
I mean, it was a solid game, but
Yeah.
it exemplified QuickTime events pretty strongly.
Yeah, definitely.
Which to some people is a good thing. To others, it's bad. To me, it's bad.
But yeah, I don't know. You're talking in the background.
I think they're conspiring.
Conspiring sports beaters. Right now, Empire Earth is free on GOG.
I never played that, actually, by the way. And is
I've
it
heard it's
still
good.
free? Because I heard it was free for like 2 days a while
as
back.
of December 12th, it is still free.
Huh.
Which
Very
was 2 days ago.
So it might not be right now. It might have just ended.
I don't know. I'm going to go home and find out. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm looking up more stories. Command & Conquer, we had talked about, I believe, yesterday night when we were over at a friend's house. The brand new Command & Conquer is going to be coming out. EA finally announced it. They're using the Frostbite engine.
Yeah, and
so
it looks insane.
They showed tanks and stuff just rolling through a city, smashing through buildings. And an RTS. That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty awesome. Hopefully they can really pull that off. The last one I got for free when EA screwed up a bunch of stuff. They sent it to me for free. And I played that for a while. It was fairly good. I just never really got into it in the multiplayer. I just didn't really. So hopefully they can pull it off.
Now, what was the most recent one?
Command & Conquer. Oh, jeez.
Command & Conquer. Oh, jeez.
Love that game.
Yeah, that's my favorite one in the series.
Yeah. Oh. Command & Conquer 4. Tiberian something.
Tiberian Sun?
Nope. Tiberian Sun was like 1.
I didn't follow the franchise.
Tiberian Sun was
I'm just throwing out
1999. The newest one was Tiberian Twilight. Command & Conquer 4. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And so Command & Conquer: The Generals 2 will be coming out. And then they have another game coming out now too from EA, or another Command & Conquer game, but it's browser only. So basically, it's an HTML5, and they're going through a company that's a subsidiary of EA, and they're making a completely, browser-based Command & Conquer.
Is it going to be like multiplayer, full-blown RTS that you just play in your browser?
Not enough information is out about it yet. They have a release date of, I believe, 2012, which was obviously next year.
Sounds kind of interesting, I guess.
Yep.
It must be like subscription-based, I guess, or
Generals,
something like that.
Generals 2 is out in 2013. But the new one is called Command & Conquer Tiberium Alliances. I know I played a lot of Command & Conquer back in the day, along with StarCraft and Warcraft 3 and all of those games. So Command & Conquer got a good place in my heart, especially Tiberian Sun, which was a beautifully made game. And there was a lot of stuff that you could really do with it. There was a lot of units that you could make a lot of really good strategies and play that game really deep in your mind. It wasn't just, a simple, oh, I've got all these units, I haven't attacked somebody else. You didn't just do that. You had to balance all your resources and do it effectively. There doesn't really say, but it says a dynamically updating map, leveraging your social network strategically. So you build alliances through your social networks and take territory with your social networks.
Wow.
Which is not a bad idea if they can pull it off where you don't have to spend money. But I don't see that happening.
But in theory, when you have to spend money on that in the realistic version of it anyways?
I don't know. If they can put enough advertising into the sidebars of the game, I don't see them having to do that. But you got... yeah. I don't know. Zynga just came out with a brand new Flash game, too.
I thought Zynga was, almost gone.
They made RuneScape.
I know, but... No, wait,
Oh,
Zynga did not make
Jagex.
RuneScape.
Jagex, there we go. That's where I was trying to...
Yeah, I was
Both
about to say,
these games-
Zynga made, we had a story about them almost going down.
Did we talk about Jazex's new game last week?
No, I don't think so.
We did not. Then I want to talk about it because it
What was it
surprised
called?
me.
RuneScape 2.
Was it
Yeah.
nine? Was it like
RuneScape
9
2.
realms or something?
Eight rounds.
Return of
Okay,
Hours
yeah, I
of
played
Mining.
the beta for that.
Yeah. Is it fun?
It wasn't very exciting, at least.
I don't think I called RuneScape exciting ever, so...
Well, it's an HTML-based
A lot of
empire-building, massively multiplayer online strategy game.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. What's that one game? It's all over. I can't remember. There's a bunch of copies of it and everything.
Well, this
Minecraft.
No,
Farmville?
no. You start on that castle, and then you start building units to start defending you.
Stronghold, the new Stronghold one.
No,
Most 2D
I can't remember it.
side-scrolling defenders.
It always had these weird ads with a bunch of gold, and you can run your own
Oh,
country. Yes,
that Travian or something.
something. Yeah, it's basic. It's that.
No, you're saying this Eight
Yeah,
Realms is that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just wondering. I saw it pop up on a couple websites. They were
That one
talking
game
about
of
it.
the ads that were completely misleading.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
game.
it's that
with the-
game.
with
Oh.
the woman
With the women.
saying, "Come join us in your
Oh.
castle."
Yep. Yep.
And it's a 2D flat map little thing.
Click.
Yeah. Anyways,
It may have changed. I played it a year and a half ago, so I don't know.
I doubt it did.
Yeah, I hear if you go back to RuneScape, it hasn't changed a whole lot, so...
No, I've heard the graphics are actually a lot better.
Oh yeah, it's
kind of.
And they've
but-
added 7
For what it
skills.
was.
Didn't they take away all the PvP area though?
They took it away and then added it back in.
That was RuneScape number 1 when they took that away, and that was like
Really?
2000.
It couldn't have been in 2000.
No, it was like 2004. They took it away and they brought it back like this year sometime.
Everything they take away, they just put back. Why do they even?
Because they're trying to make their game better. Maybe some people like to do that.
Everyone hates it.
I don't know. As I had mentioned, the Old Republic got early game access.
Yep.
Lots of people are playing it. If you're playing it, I'd really like to know on the Facebook.com/90terabytes page. Maybe come on and review it in a couple weeks.
They're too busy playing.
Yeah, if you're busy playing, if you're not...
You can just bring your computer in here and play while you review it.
Or we can call you over the
want.
phone. We can do that too. we can do that. There's no harm in that. But they're saying they're adding lots of new things. That was one of the biggest things I absolutely despised about Star Wars was the space combat.
Really?
It sucked in every way. You were stuck on a rail and you shot. That's it.
Really?
Yep.
That seems really lame.
So
then.
they're going to expand space combat, hopefully where
Good.
it doesn't suck. More PvP, and then your guilds get...
Battlefront? You mean?
Battlefield.
You mean Battlefield's flying, or Battlefront, like the old Star Wars game where you flew around the space and blew each other up?
Battlefront.
Yes.
Battlefront was so much fun.
Yeah, they had space combat done right there. That was awesome.
Different company, but you can just steal that exactly and just do it as multiplayer.
Yep.
Hooray! Anyways,
Hundreds of ships
they're going to add capital ships for your guild, which is a really cool idea. Now, if they can do that where your guild fights another guild with your ship,
that would be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Actually, that would lend itself perfectly to that type of space combat.
Well, exactly.
Too.
You have like 150 people in your guild, and you have 150 people in another person's guild, and you attack.
That would be awesome.
Oh, so good.
Yeah,
BioWare,
so,
you listening?
Right there, BioWare, do this. I'm going to buy your game if you do that. Anyways, I don't think there's really anything else we have to say.
Yeah, I think for the most part we've covered this slowish week in gaming.
Yeah, there wasn't much for us to talk about, which is kind of unfortunate. But you know, as we've said many times, you can talk to us on the Facebook.com/90terabytes.
The Facebook. That's what it was originally.
It was the Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm a professional. I saw the social network.
And you can also yell at us at 90terabytes.reddit.com. And subscribe, and then post all your reviews to all the games you want to talk about on there. That'd be really cool if you do that as well.
Who Reddits?
Yes.
Yeah, nobody. It's like one of the biggest sites on the internet.
Crazy talk.
Anyways, so thank you for listening to 90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming here on 90 FM, your only alternative.
For gaming.
Hey Taylor, do you have anything left you want to tell to our listeners?
We are not selling or distributing for commercial purpose any music you have heard on today's show.
All music, games, ideas, and content are the express copyright of their original and current owners.
We, 90FM, the UW Board of Regents, and the WWSP do not own anything you have heard on today's show.
Hey, this is Wes Black.
This is Taylor.
And this is Q.
You're listening to 90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming.
Only on WWSP, Stevens Point, 90 FM, your only alternative.
For gaming.